In the first 100 days of Donald Trump's presidency, the United States has experienced substantial shifts across economic policy, workforce composition, and international relations, as well as major changes in global economic relations and new tensions in geopolitics. Central to President Trump's economic strategy has been the introduction of extensive tariffs targeting major trading partners. These tariffs, including up to 145% on Chinese imports, have significantly escalated trade tensions. Approximately 14% of all US imports, including electronics and automotive parts, originate from China, emphasizing the high stakes involved.
Tariffs are no good for anyone. And certainly they are more damaging to the economy who imposes them first than the economies who are being imposed upon. And certainly when you have economies that retaliate, we see slower growth across the board because it shrinks both exports and imports because you're destroying demand and you're also upsetting supply. It seems like a lot of economic damage to be done for potentially not that much in terms of revenue.
The tariffs also underscore vulnerabilities in the international trading system, notably the role of the World Trade Organization, the WTO. With the trade war intensifying, the effectiveness and the fairness of the WTO as a global arbitrator have come into question.
When we talk about engaging in trade with each other or in decent investments, we need to have certain types of rules that we can follow so that we can resolve disputes. A system can only be as strong as the rule book under which it operates. And here comes the problem with China, because it's interesting to see that the number of disputes that have been brought against China in the WTO is not necessarily bigger than the disputes against other countries. So that's interesting, which means that China hasn't really violated the rule book more than others have.
Domestically, President Trump's immigration policies have introduced significant uncertainty into key sectors of the US economy. Foreign-born workers comprise 25% of the American workforce, and industries reliant on these workers face potential labor shortages that could affect productivity and economic competitiveness.
And I think what this really highlights is the criticality of these workforces in really specific areas.
Yep.
Where that is, cleaning and maintenance, agriculture, construction. You also see kind of a higher disproportionate representation in some of the higher technical fields as well. When we really look towards the future, where might the US workforce come up short of demand here in the next 10 years? It is a lot of these that are predominantly foreign-born workers.
Underlying all these economic issues is our serious fiscal challenge, large deficits, a rising national debt, and the question of whether or not to extend the tax cuts expiring later this year. Will policymakers rise to the challenge? Keep in mind that Congress has not passed a budget on time since 1997 and only 4 times since 1977.
I'd say the outlook is really very grim, and it's been made worse by the lack of attention to a budget process by the Congress, just not having an orderly consideration of its facts. Let's just look at deficits for a moment. For this fiscal year we're currently in, we're 5 months into it, it's estimated that the deficit will be about just a shade under $2 trillion. That's $2 trillion we're going to go deeper into debt this year. That represents 6.2% of our GDP.
Beyond economics and workforce dynamics, the Trump administration's initial policies have raised the broader questions over America's international leadership role. The administration's withdrawal from international agreements, such as the Paris Climate Accords and the World Health Organization, further signal a dramatic reshaping of US foreign policy.
Leadership around the world is really an important thing for the United States. We may be at a precipice here of a lot of changes going on, a lot of views in different European countries, and our national, international leadership is essential at this moment, and I don't want to see us backing away from that.
The first 100 days of the second Trump administration have highlighted 5 key shifts whose impacts will likely only be magnified in the coming months. 1. The administration seeks to use tariffs to drive policy priorities beyond just trade. 2. The long-established global trading system is in fact fragile. 3. The United States may potentially play a reduced role in global affairs. 4. Changes in immigration policies reveal vulnerabilities in the workforce across multiple sectors. And 5. Businesses and the markets prefer predictability and certainty, pulling back investments when they don't have clarity. How will the first 100 days of the Trump administration set the path for the next 4 years and beyond? The world is watching every decision, every policy shift, and every diplomatic move, and the Conference Board is interpreting all of it, providing the unbiased, non-partisan analysis and insights to help our members thrive during these challenging times.